this morning to have this conversation is Adeniyi Ifetayo. He is a media analyst. Thank you so much for joining us, Adeniyi Ifetayo.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's our delight. All right, we're talking about analyzing and analysis of government economic initiatives and programs. As a media analyst, I would like to ask, what are some of the criteria that you use to evaluate the effectiveness of government economic initiatives as well as programs?
Until the masses, until the people feel the impact of your initiatives or program across broad, regardless whether a region, maybe because they said these people really voted for me, like we had the former president who said, I belong to nobody, I belong to everybody. Mm-hmm. You understand? So until the people at the grassroots level really felt the impact of your initiative, of your program, they have access to it, and that is when we say that we are having a feedback. It's just a pity that when most of the presidents, when they have the minister or special advisor, most people, they most times stay in the Federal Capital Territory, where they don't really, even sometimes you'll be wondering, did this advisor really advise the president or the governor or as it were, but because they most times stay within the corridor of power, they don't have a touch base. Some of them, once they are whether selected or elected into the position of power or into the position of authority, that's the last time you will see them in their constituency or once in a blue moon. But that is not how it ought to be. If I were to be whether the president or the governor, I'll be asking my people every day you must, not every day, maybe once in a week, I must have a feedback. Feedback helps you to put your program in shapes. It helps you to know what you are doing wrong or what you are doing right. And also, whether it be the president or the governor, as you have a media sit-up, maybe once in 3 months, once quarter, or in a quarter, or once in a month or bi-monthly, so that you can have feedback. You can even do a calling and make the line open. Let's hear from these people, because just like I heard when Olumide said that corruption happen to be the bane of most of these initiatives. Yes, Mr. President might have a good heart, a good program, but if the execution is not properly managed, is not properly executed, it will still come back to grad level or zero. It will still come back to zero level. There won't be any impact. There won't be any feeling of the programs.
All right. So just like you said, the president or even the federal government, they always have good initiatives. So how can they improve, these initiatives so that it can better, achieve what it has been planned out for? I mean, for instance, we still have the minimum wage. I don't even know how it has been affected. Now we have minimum wage side by side with this fuel hike. We also have the CNG buses, which has not been rolled out. So how do you think the federal government can improve their initiatives, their policies, so that the people at the grassroots would actually feel it?
It has to do with communication. They need to communicate these programs more effectively. They need to have a channels of reaching people. I kept on saying that the issue of data might limit whatever effort the federal government is putting in place. Even if it's just only 4 CNG buses, let's assume that 6 CNG buses, maybe one for, one for each geopolitical zone. You make announcement of it. You can send any SMS. They have all our numbers. They know how they tap number, or if they want to get information when it comes to security and all of that. 200 CNG buses have been released to South geopolitical zone. Ask your governor, ask your senator, ask your House of Rep member, But when it comes to they want to collect tax or some form of increment, you will see the announcement, the orientation. They should go from door to door, just like you are doing campaign. That is how you communicate your program to the masses, the people who need it. It's not the people who have their own cars, who have fleet of cars or private jet, as it were, or they can afford to pay a flight ticket from point A to point B, that once they hear the information, the effectiveness will not be there. You have our numbers, you have the data, at least, so to say, in code. So if you have all those that, for example, if they want to increase fuel, even the mama with the village go know say they don't increase fuel or they want to increase fuel. That information alone, use the same strategy so that the information, whatever you are doing, let us know. And as well, integrity is of important. For example, now let's say a bottle of bottled water costs 500 naira, and the government is telling another of its agents that, okay, go and announce we have bought 2 cartons of bottled water for 2 million. That one sound absorbed for people to, how can you tell me I'm paying so just like what happened during when they are passing the last budget, they did analysis of one solar street costing almost maybe 50 million naira. How did it come about? So because corruption has started from up, trickling down, so it will be very difficult for that man to also say that, oh, they gave me 10. So it will be very easy for him that if the one at the top has already increased the amount that this thing costs, so let me also remove 2 or 3 for my own self or for my own political party. And of course, once a president has emerged, all the court cases have been adjudicated, let us rally together and become one. Nigeria should be first before your political party.
All right.
You understand? Not that whatever program, whatever initiative that have been released, it should be kept for people who voted me into power, or it should be kept for my political party and those who believe in my program, not other party or opposition party as they normally call it.
Okay, now talking about some of these initiatives, they keep saying they are trying to target the poor and all of that, but how would you rate the inclusion of marginalized groups, the vulnerable, those that don't have access to what some of us have access to? How would you rate how the federal government, state government, is trying to include them in some of these initiatives, and what are the better strategies they can adopt for better inclusion and growth?
Yes, first and foremost, I would say 4/10. Okay. 4/10, the reason why you even earn 4/10 is because, yes, you said you want to do this, you want to do that, and that's why you have that 4/10. But talking about inclusion of the poor, or the masses, or the people at the grassroots level, if they have not ratify that local government autonomy, that whatever belongs to local government, let local government administer it by himself, that the state government, the state governors, they are still trying to go to court or look for the way to ratify it and all of that to still make sure. I think in Oyo State, can you imagine all the local government officials or local government chairman, they wrote to whether Minister of Finance or Budget that they prefer that their allocation comes straight to the state government. This show clearly that who pays the piper dictates the tune. They are still dragging the whole thing backward. How will the people at the grassroots level will have the feel of the impact of the government? So those are the things they need to do. The law, nobody is above the law. This is what the law states. It has recognized local government autonomy. Let that money go straight to them and let it be published, well published. So local government got so more amount of money. So local government or state government got so amount of money. This is high time you begin to ask your government, your elected official. So also the same thing when it comes to constituency project. So amount of money that have been released. That will help inclusion, so that it will help some of our political class to reduce their impunity when it comes to national treasury, that whatever that have been released to them, So I think those are one of the ways they can also do. And of course, we have data. I mean, some of these people have phones, they have telephone number, you have their account. I'm sure sometimes maybe you have put in some some huge, not that huge amount of money in your account, it will be frozen because they suspect some kind of transaction that, no, this is not usual. If they can do that without your consent, they know what individual hands, what comes in. It's just to ask, get the data, and they know who and who that are, say that they really want to target, not that release the money for someone who will use it, to benefit his or her own agenda.
All right, thank you very much. In less than a minute, I'd like to ask you, yes, some of these policies that were rolled by the federal government got to maybe 50% completion, and some, even in the past administration, never saw the light of this. So how can we recover this? How can we reconcile this so that there's some sort of accountability? So whenever the government comes out with policies, initiatives, and all that, and it doesn't get to completion, someone should be held responsible for that.
Yes, thank you. Someone should be held responsible for that, because when the purpose of a thing is not known and abuse is inevitable, if you have not made somebody to face the music, so people will continue the same way. Like they said that you don't expect to continue to do things the same way and you expect different results. No. So you know how much you have released so far. Ask them, okay, let there be a feedback. What are the percentage of execution? Did you actually do it? Let there be a monitoring, a team set up to monitor at the local government level independently, not of the same political class. Once you belong to the same political class, there's a bound to be a compromise. You understand? And independent, just like we have EFCC, just like we have ICPC, just like we have some other government agencies who are independent or, on their own. So let them operate as they are releasing the fund, and also let them also make sure whatever fund they release, let those anti-graft agencies also be aware. So local government, so region, so state government have been given so amount of money to execute, maybe palliative or something, that they want to get. So once they know that the anti-graft agency also, they are aware, that fear, not that fear, that consciousness will be there that, somebody is watching, that there's a watchdog. But where there's no watchdog, there's a bound to be impunity, and where nobody has been arrested or made to face the music or explain, things will continue the same way they were.
All right, thank you very much. This is a safe place to land. We do appreciate your thoughts. You've been very brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
And greetings from Benin.
Greetings from Lagos all the way to Benin.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a fantastic weekend.
And you too. Bye.
Bye.